What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Sideline Sitdown with City Refs, the unofficial officials. I'm your boy, Varsity Dan, of course, with your boy, Mondo. Today, we have a special guest on our first remote podcast with a guest. He is a journalist, an analyst, and a creator. You may have seen him on social media where he covers the MLS and all things footy. Favian Renkel. Well, I was going to
Hey, thanks.
ask
Was
you,
it
honestly, I was
Renkel?
going to ask you before, how do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah. No, Renkel, whatever you want. I don't
Renkel?
mind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all
Well,
good. Well,
what's funny is this dude's been practicing how to say your last name, and the whole time he just
I
switched it up
did.
at the end. So
no,
Well,
it's cool. Like
he made me question it.
I go by Favian,
Fabian.
any Fav, anything really. Yeah.
sounds good, man. Yeah, growing up in a Hispanic, community, you have to have a nickname, right?
You know what's funny is me and my friends we joke. I don't have a nickname, and it pisses me off.
Dang. You know what that
Yeah.
means, right?
So all right, they want to give me one. They want to give me Flacco, but I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. But
Yeah.
it might be funny in that
Typically,
way.
if they call you Flacco, it means the opposite.
Right. Good thing they don't call me Phil. I'm just
Yeah.
happy about that.
Yeah. Well, I
You
started
so
getting pissed because
boy.
El Guapo.
yeah,
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 right. So,
yeah. I started getting angry when they just recently started calling me Flacco. So I'm like, dang, I must be gaining some weight. Oh man. But hey, before we get into the episode, we gotta do a cheers every time. Uh
I gotta
I
open it.
wish we could have I wish we could have sent you some City Ref
Oh,
brewski,
I'll be
but
out there one day. That's for sure.
Check it out.
all right, there
Cheers,
we
cheers,
go.
cheers.
Cheers, brothers.
Damn, I'm a savage. I got a tall can, dude. I didn't know it was this type of thing. No, I was kidding.
And if you see me looking to my
Hey,
left,
man.
we're actually in the same room.
Oh,
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah, we're like reaching over. You might see my can over there in Danny's screen.
That's
Oh
sick.
man.
You guys have a nice setup. Or the Messi jersey, I see that, and then
Yep.
the St. Louis City jersey in the back there.
And there's
Oh, there
Oh
you go.
yeah,
And then
and
you got a
then
couple more.
yeah,
Yeah, Watts.
Keel Watts.
Yep.
Oh
MLS
yeah.
Next Pro,
Damn.
Akil Watt.
Yeah, is that a next pro? That's a next pro. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. He gave me that when they played Bayern Leverkusen. Like I was
Oh,
just
wow.
there at the bottom, and I was like, "Hey, let me get your jersey." He like pointed at me. He's like, "All right." Yeah, and actually, we became good friends after that, so it's pretty wild.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, MLS guys are really nice. That's what I've kind of figured out.
Now he's a first team player, starter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was funny. Like the next day after that jersey is when he got his MLS contract.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, with this one right here, I have a Tesho Akindele jersey, and I worked with him on a show. I was like his editor, and I would help run his Twitter shows when he was still playing. So yeah, that was cool. That's a cool one for me. But
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
yeah,
And that's all right behind you.
yeah, the 13, this one right here, right
Yeah,
behind me, and then
let's take a look at it.
yeah, this let me. You want me to grab it? Let me grab it.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's show the people.
I got short arms. All right. Yeah, so this one's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's an Orlando City kit, but this one's cool because I worked on the show. I felt like this one is a little bit more of a connection.
Got
So
some
I like
sentimental
this one a lot.
value.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Besides like my bobbleheads, like because my basement's like loaded with like memorabilia, so it's like it has to mean something to me usually
Yeah.
if I hang it up on the wall or something.
No, I agree. I have another one up here too. I covered so I cover the Quakes. I don't know. I started covering the Quakes as a podcaster, and then all of a sudden I became this like full on blown reporter. So I was like, all right, well, let me go cover some Quakes 2 matches. And one of the Quakes 2 players got drafted to the Columbus Crew. So this is one of my favorite ones too. Over here, I have a Max Arston jersey because I covered him for when he was with Quakes 2. But now he plays for Columbus and he scored in the playoffs. But this one means
Wow,
to
that's
me
awesome.
too because it's like a young kid. You saw at the start, you would collaborate with him and
Yeah.
with the 2 team, just like how Watts with you guys, and then all of a sudden he's now for Columbus Crew. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. The access.
Yeah, it is
the
pretty
access
crazy.
you get to the St. Louis
Yeah.
team is, it's a lot easier. So we've been covering them a lot,
Right.
going to those games, and recently I even got to cover one of the playoff match. Well, the only playoff match we had here in St.
Yeah, yeah,
Louis.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
we're not ready
I
for
covered
that.
that
Oh
as a
yeah.
photographer, so that was pretty sick.
Oh cool.
Yeah, so I got some cool photos.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, MLS media is something that it's a really big passion of mine. I also like manage about 30 photographers for teams all around the league with Area Sports Network, and that's always a fun time because it's just a little making a community for photographers is something that is really cool in a sense where everybody can kind of get things off of each other, and then if they have any advice, they need anything, I'm always there to help, and I help kind of post things for them too.
So
So
the area sports network, is that
yeah, correct.
that's something you do?
Yeah, exactly. That's something I help with full time, I would say.
Yeah,
That's another project that I do. Yeah,
that's awesome.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
I cover like the big games for them. So when I go down to LA or MLS Cups, All Star games, I'm always like lead reporter, creative director on their stuff too. So
Sweet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like backing it up a little bit. So like, you through Twitter, I guess, now known as X, through Mayhem with that poll you did,
yeah,
of that like the podcast
yeah,
poll. Like that was insane. Like I looked like just recently and it was like 143,000 views on it.
yeah.
It's
Honestly,
insane. Like
this MLS community on Twitter is actually so big, but my whole thing is like a lot of reporters and a lot of fans really only want to know about their team and maybe Inter Miami. So I try my best to kind of cover the teams that don't get too much
Yeah,
coverage, or at least coverage outside of their local bubble,
yeah,
right? So, um,
yeah.
like you always see me talking about MLS Next Pro, or you'll
yep,
see me talking about like Vancouver, Houston, just like these random teams all the time because one, maybe they talk to a Latin player and then maybe nobody on Twitter has got the tonality right or can translate them in a way where people can understand it. Or I mean, I just don't see coverage for it, so I'm like, all right, let me cover Portland today, So
yep,
it's just something that I feel like I like to kind of get in those little pockets and try to provide coverage. I don't know if you guys saw the post I did about Pompeo and
yeah,
and the MLS Next
Oh
Pro
yeah.
guys, and yeah, it was nice. I mean, St. Louis loves their team, so it's like yeah, when you get into
Yeah.
the St. Louis kind of thick of things, it's the whole city's behind you, so it's pretty cool to see.
yeah.
Oh
Celio's
yeah,
my boy
absolutely.
too,
And
so I love seeing him
Yeah,
get some love right there.
yeah. No, it was awesome, kind of seeing that. I mean, dude, I was like, I probably am like an MLS Next Pro guy because that's really where I started. So it's nice seeing all these MLS Next Pro guys finally get some goals in, especially in the MLS Cup playoffs. Again,
Yep.
it's not easy getting a goal in the MLS Cup playoffs. I mean, the
oh
Quakes
yeah,
didn't
no.
score a goal in the playoffs, so it's like it's not easy. So don't take these goals for granted because it's something that a lot of players don't get to do.
Yeah, and that goal Celio just scored was a banger.
Yeah, it was nice. It really brought life back, to the team
Yeah.
when they needed it the most. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, St. Louis is a great team and they're going to retool. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, MLS is tough and nobody
Yep.
expected that. I kind of expected it a little bit
I
because
think it's
I was
fun.
in MLS Next Pro. So I thought like, are you going to yellow card me for that? No,
Pick
no, 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 no,
SKC
no.
over St. Louis.
Me because of the history. All right. It was because of the history and
Yeah,
SKC. I was just thinking SKC in penalties. Nobody wants to face them
yeah,
because the Quakes have lost two times now to Tim Melia and freaking Graham Zuzi and Roger Espinoza and Peter Bermese, right?
yep,
So
Yeah.
it's the same squad.
yep,
They have a lot of MLS vets that know how to get it done in the playoffs,
yep.
and if anybody can make the playoffs this year because there was 9 teams in each division, Kansas City actually has a big opportunity to be the biggest upset of all time, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're talented veterans. They know how to get it done, and I just think it's something where, they're gonna be a thorn in anyone's side the rest of these playoffs.
Yeah, I remember like cuz when I first started, watching the MLS, it was because David Villa, like that's my all-time favorite player. He came to, New York City
Yeah,
FC, and that's when I like started following MLS. But me and three buddies, we travel to different MLS stadiums every year, just to, figure out the fan experience, like what's going on and stuff. Well, Sporting KC was like the first one we went to.
yeah,
So I always followed them a lot and stuff. But yeah, this playoff run, I've been talking some trash, always friendly trash. I like the friendly back and forth, never too serious. But like every time I would say something, I like regret it immediately. I'm like, damn, we just lost.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. It's tough too because as a on the reporter side of things, you want to get your opinion out there, but then you get a whole fan base hating
Yeah.
it. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hey,
it's like,
we know we know all about that as the unofficial officials. Dress like referees is very dangerous around here.
Yeah.
right? I mean, especially the
The
last game, right?
pro
So
pro referees is not giving us any favors. You know.
have, you, have they like pointed at you at the games or anything? Like, have they noticed
Oh
you in the
yeah,
stands?
he got some signed
Okay.
cards from some of the referees.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah. Well,
cool. Yeah, I
it
know.
was the very last match of regular season. He was actually late. He couldn't make it in time.
Uh-huh.
The referee pointed me out, walked over, and I was like, "This is my time to shine." And I went to go grab the cards out of my pocket. I couldn't get them out. So they were
I
just standing there.
took those.
And I'm like, "Oh man!" But I was like, "Hey, let's trade cards." And he kind of like shook his head and left. And then like right before the match started, he came back with signed cards for me.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was pretty dope.
Yeah. So, are you guys refs at all on the youth level, or
No,
no? I was
no,
gonna
no,
say
no.
it's like it's kind of the weirdest profession to ever go in. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a ref. So
I know. And it's even more, I guess, weird to, pretend to be a ref.
no, it's good. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, the shirt's sick.
Oh,
You
baby,
want to
that looks
rock it.
good.
No, I'm gonna rock this to the gym. I like it. I like it a lot. And you know what? Maybe in San Jose when you guys come to town. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We still got to make it out on the West Coast, so maybe
Yep.
we'll try to make that our next trip or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys have to go to stadiums like Seattle, LAFC. If you want a little more relaxed, then go to San Jose. But yeah, going into like they say in Spanish, la boca del lobo. If you want to go to the mouth of the wolf, you go to LAFC and see that 32-52 in person. It's like, man, that's wild. But yeah,
Yeah,
Seattle's also an underrated kind of stadium. Even though it's a football stadium, they really fill that place up, and it gets loud because of the way it's kind of constructed, and it's a beauty. I mean, it's an awesome stadium in the NFL and even more in MLS.
yeah. Well, right now, Seattle's on our SHIT list because of Jordan Morris
right.
bailing on us. But I always liked him too. We followed Seattle a little bit too when
Mm.
we first started watching MLS.
Yeah, it must have been weird that first season you guys were in MLS Next Pro, right? Do you just watch regular MLS games and see as a neutral?
Yeah, yeah, we were just like, well, I followed players a lot, like
Yeah,
when we first started, like I said, like David Villa when he came into the league. That's when I started watching it. I followed Carlos Vela.
yeah,
Of course, you got to watch Ibra, when he
right.
came through. Yeah, just like just random players that I would follow. And then this is Daniel's first
Yeah.
time watching.
Oh,
Never
cool,
really watched
cool.
MLS.
Well, welcome.
Grew up watching Liga MX. So,
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
but now that we have our own team.
I'm a huge I'm a huge fan of Leagues Cup, and
Oh,
I'm like, I'm in the boat that I think Leagues Cup is going to be the most kind of important trophy throughout the next couple of 5 to 10 years. I think Leagues Cup is crucial for MLS growth because like you said, I mean, you grew up watching Liga MX. Imagine in California, imagine in Arizona, imagine in
oh yeah,
Texas, right? Washington, Chicago, right? Like all these Mexican fans love Liga MX squads, and finally having a competitive match against MLS teams, they're starting to wonder, who's Christian Espinoza, who's Klaus,
Well,
who's
we
Berkey.
didn't
yeah,
Maybe they already know who
we
Berkey.
didn't really put up too much of a
Yeah,
fight against America.
right, but still, it's a whole bunch of new
Oh
fans
yeah.
finding out about MLS, which is just as big in my opinion. I mean, Messi's
Yeah.
big, but this is pretty big too on kind of like a micro level instead of a macro level like Messi.
Yeah, but another thing with that game was it brought a lot of the Hispanic community to the stadium. So they got to
Oh yeah,
see, what St. Louis is about, and to most of the community, like especially around St. Louis, there's a lot of Hispanics, but
mm,
they just follow Liga MX. They don't follow MLS.
right,
So now maybe,
yeah,
with getting some of these teams in there, they get that fan base. Because even like some of our friends who are America fans, they
right,
had never
oh
been to
yeah,
the stadium, but they went for that time. And then hopefully you can transition and get them over to, like, you can support both teams, you know?
right.
yeah,
Well, even if you don't get them to be a St. Louis fan, they're gonna know
Yeah.
who your
right,
players are. They're gonna want to know more. Dive into more content.
Yep.
Click on more links. things are going to get bigger in a sense of collateral damage, in my
Right.
opinion. So you're going to see Klaus on the front page of a Mexican newspaper somewhere, right? If you guys have a good Leagues Cup, right?
Yeah.
So it's just wild to
Yeah.
think really about that. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how big Leagues Cup can and will be. Like, just being on the front page of beating, Chivas in Leagues Cup, you're going to be on the front page of a Mexican newspaper that goes all around the country full of people,
Yeah.
right? And they're all going to be
Yeah.
like, who the hell is Evander from Portland? So it's like, they're going to be like, why did this guy just beat our team, right? So I don't know. I think it has so much potential, and I'm super glad about it. I know a lot of people don't like Leagues Cup, and they think it was too long. It was in the middle of the season, but man, that was a fun tournament.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
As a spectator, I loved it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, for the 2 matches that we were in or whatever it was, but it is interesting because like how much business it brings
Right,
to your town, and I'm not talking about just ticket sales and jersey sales and whatnot. I'm talking about the bootleg vendors outside selling selling the jerseys. There were so many bootleg America
right.
jerseys being sold out
And it was
there.
the first
Hey,
time
helping the economy.
that we saw the stadium actually mix up a little bit because typically it's all St.
Um,
Louis, it's all red, but you saw a lot of yellow up there. So it was interesting. And then the America people, I guess they didn't get the memo that you're not supposed to have fireworks in the stands. They didn't care. It was awesome. The
Oh yeah,
atmosphere, not only there, but around MLS, just watching all those matches go down. I mean, to me, it was
right.
by far the most exciting time of the season so far.
It was almost too good that the rest of the season was kind of like,
Yeah.
like
Felt like a
it
grind.
was almost too much fun.
Yeah, I agree.
well, I mean, I say that every time. I'm like, man, how is this game gonna get topped? And then like St. Louis is like sold out like every match,
Right,
and every time we're in the supporter section, like it's wild. Like
right,
we've never had a bad time other than that America game.
right, right, right,
But But yeah, it's an atmosphere, man. And so we started this podcast just to talk about like the fan experience through our perspective, right? Because like we just started having fun and like these referee like we just did it as a
Yeah.
joke at first. We're like, let's just go all out, let's just throw some red cards at people, let's just have fun, and then it kind of like took off from there. But it's just crazy how things develop, and the people that you meet within the supporter
right.
section. I mean, just like this, like you putting up that poll, like how many requests for you to come on podcast have you gotten so far?
Yeah, a lot of them actually. Well, so my whole thing is I come from a podcast background, so I know exactly how it is, and I always said, man, I wish MLS just like did a shot in the dark, a fan vote, something where at least content creators for the league that have been there, or in your case, have been there from the start of the club, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they need shout outs. That's the only way they can really, at least in their market, people already know about them. But if they want to make, maybe San Jose plays St. Louis, they listen to your show. The only way to kind of get that fan to know about your show is something like that, in my opinion. Like
Oh
seeing,
yeah.
I learned about podcasts and I cover the league, right? So it's like, oh well, now I have a podcast for FC Dallas. Now I have a podcast for Cincy. So it's something that I was really shocked by, and I was actually really, really surprised how many people interacted and wanted to give a shout out to their team because it's just, or to their podcast, because there's just nothing out there that you can do.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, that's what actually got us to join Twitter or X, I
Yeah, yeah,
keep.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we didn't have one and we're like, should we make one? Should we
Well,
not?
that's
And then I
cool.
saw someone post about your poll or
Yeah,
whatever, and then I was like, let's get on there, let's check it out.
yeah,
And it was insane, like you said, how many people like engaged. Like it was crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the winner of the West Coast one ended up being Corner of the Galaxy, but they've been around for 20 years, so it's like,
Right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe I do something where they can't win 2 years in a row or something,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but I don't know if anyone's gonna beat 20 years of content, right? So it's something that it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, I get a bigger kind of outlet to kind of do it next year, just so that it's not, who's this Favian Renkel guy saying like this podcast is the best podcast, right? But no, it was a trip hearing, because I was a listener of Corner of the Galaxy, and hearing Fabian Renkel's best podcast goes to, and then they announce it to themselves. It was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, I just thought, no one's doing it. Just like all the content I make, if no one's doing it, I feel like there's a want for it, especially in this league where national media doesn't really pick up too much. I'll
Yep.
kind of step in to show that the league's growing, or or kind of some positive news too. Because I do love to do like Google Trends too and marketing things, and
Yeah.
seeing that stuff is a trip as well. So I mean, seeing that Messi going to Inter Miami was bigger than the biggest
Big.
story in the U.S. over SEC football or NFL football was it's wild, and with Leagues Cup it was cool seeing all those games too.
It was.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Messi is like I want to say like a once in a lifetime thing
Right,
because like that's just crazy. Like the
right.
amount of pull that man has just by showing his face
I
is
mean, how
unreal.
crazy
What was
that he lifted the Ballon d'Or tonight in America.
right,
It's
right.
insane.
It's almost surreal, right? Like I still can't believe it, but I
Oh
was gonna
man.
say, like with Messi, I was posting a lot about Messi, but it was like no one's translating him. Like nobody is translating my guy.
Yep.
Like there's no MLS reporter that was really kind of translating him and like actually understanding his Spanish until ESPN or Bleacher Report would do it. And I was like, shoot, well, I do cover San Jose Earthquakes and I cover the league sometimes, but am I not going to do this? Like, if I don't do it, who will? So that was the whole thing with kind of posting about Messi all the time was I had to do it. It was something where I felt like the average American should know about this and should realize how big this was. And I made a post saying like Messi has more followers on Instagram than almost all the American uh, sports people. So I was just like, yeah, this is big. This is like the biggest free agent signing of all time,
Yeah.
and people need to realize
Yeah, and I mean I'm a diehard Messi fan. Like I got that off of eBay, with the
that.
with the COA, but like a lot of people don't realize like coming that close to Messi, like some people would never get the chance to,
Right.
like people that grew up just watching this dude just murder like whole teams by
So
himself.
Yeah.
the
Well,
question I got for
as
you,
a Uruguayan, right? Oh, sorry to
yeah,
cut you
no
off, Dan.
problem. The question I
Uh,
have for you is CR7 or Messi?
is that even a question? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a Uruguayan. I should pick Ronaldo, but I don't like Ronaldo.
Okay.
I think Messi used to be our rival, right?
Yeah.
Messi used to be the villain against us until Suarez went to go play with him at Barcelona, and we became like we're
Yeah.
brothers. Argentina, Uruguay. If they win, we win. They drink our mate, so we win. So it's like I thought that was pretty funny. People in Uruguay celebrating the World Cup win like if it was their own.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that we used to be really big
Yeah.
rivals, and then two players being friends is like all right. Well, they're not that bad. I guess they're like our brother.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I mean, I hate to compare, MLS rivalries to that, but it's like it's the same kind of view, right? It's like you have to have some kind of level of respect for the talent and what they did. So like even though Sporting KC like knocked us out and that's like our bitter rivals, like you have to respect what they did. So
That's
it's just
very
wild to view.
mature of you.
It took a long time to, have that point of view.
Because I know Quakes fans, if they lose to the Galaxy, oh, they don't let it go for sure. So that's something that's very
We're
mature
just
of
gonna let
yourself.
it go based on the expectations we had going into the season, but
Right,
we
Oh
can't
yeah.
do it
right.
again.
And I mean,
Last time.
8-1. I actually chose the Red Bulls to beat Cincy. So I
Oh, I
thought
saw that.
I thought the Red Bulls could actually have a chance. Red card. No, no, but really, I think the level from 8-1 in MLS is actually not that big. So getting, losing Sporting Kansas City beating St. Louis was something that I don't think is that out of far left field.
I mean, they took it to what, PKs?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing well. I mean, any given day is what I say, man. Any given day, anyone can beat
Yeah.
anyone.
New York missed 3 penalties to win.
Yeah.
So it's like, geez.
Yeah, it's like that's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh man, that's sad. But hey, man, backing it up again. I mean, I keep looking at that shirt, man. You looking good in that shirt, brother.
Let's go. Yes, baby. Ooh.
So, so you cover obviously a lot of teams in the MLS.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anyone else dressed like referees in the stands?
No, I have not. I have not. I have not. That's the first time, and I think it's so cool, and that's why I love this whole thing when you guys were giving those cards to the kids. I thought that that reminded me of when I covered MLS Next Pro games, and all the kids would ask me for autographs, and I was like, dude, I'm nobody, like. So I thought that was really cool and cute. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Yeah, like if one kid asks for a card, you better have like 100 of them ready
Yeah,
because like
right.
They come out of everywhere. And Daniel was actually taking
Yeah.
pictures and videos
Yeah.
that day. So like they would come up, ask me for autographs. I'm like, don't forget Varsity Dan. He's right there.
Yeah,
Go get
I'm
him.
like,
that's
what's
funny.
going
That's
on?
funny.
Because I
Yeah,
was,
he's on the field. He's actually
yeah,
cooler.
I was on the
Yeah,
field,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, "Hey, can we get your autograph?" I was like, "Sure."
And what's crazy is like after the game, like players were actually walking up, and I'm like, "Hey, he's a player. You want his autograph?" They're like, "No, no, no. You sign this." I'm like, "All right, cool, cool, all
Yeah,
right."
it's wild.
No, that's
Oh
funny.
man,
Yeah, it's for the love of the kids. I have a little magazine called Footwork, and I have all these stickers when I go out, and I give them out too. So whenever a kid usually MLS Next Pro games, it's a little more personal, like you were saying
Yeah.
earlier, and I do that at that type of event. So it's always good to give
Yeah.
back. You
So
know.
with the soccer magazine Footwork, I seen the Hani Mukhtar spread. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome, man. Incredible work.
yeah, that was our first credentialed kind of magazine spread. So to be seen as an organization
Yeah.
for something that's just a passion for me and for the crew that I have was really cool. That was kind of a first big step, and then having Hanny repost it, and then when we did Bawanga, having Bawanga repost it. So honestly, it's just getting bigger and bigger and better. So there's a couple of hurdles when it comes to like actually making it. So at the
yeah,
time now, it's just like a digital thing where we can express our creative
Yeah.
talents and our creativeness in a sphere where the player's gonna see it and the player's gonna want a copy,
Yeah.
right? I owe like 3 copies of Dennis Belonga whenever it comes out. So I'm like, hey, let's do a shirt exchange and we're good,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, so
Yeah. No, for
oh,
sure.
did I say Dennis? My bad. Denny Buonga.
Yeah. No, man, that's awesome though.
yeah. And those are like big players, man. So that's
Cream of the crop.
awesome. And like, so we
Yeah,
felt badass when our first guest ever on the podcast was Ezra Armstrong.
yeah,
He's like one of our boys now, but he played MLS Next Pro.
yeah.
But coming out the gate, first magazine with Hanny Mukhtar, like that's crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I always I have a little relationship with Hanny. I always hit him with the weirdest questions, and I feel like he like when he saw me in San Jose, he went right up to me and said hello. You know, like he definitely remembered me. When there was rumors of him going to Qatar, I saw it when it was the All Star game break, and I knew we were going to talk to the players, so I was like, I'm just going to go straight up to him, and I'm going to say, "Are you moving to Qatar?" And that day, that's exactly what happened. I went straight up to him and I said, Hanny, and I had it on film and everything. I was like, "Are you moving to Qatar?" And I could see it. The PR person behind him, like her eyes just like, like opened up, like
Yeah.
didn't expect that question, you know. And he actually gave me a real answer. He said, "No, I love Nashville. My wife is from America. I just got married. There's no intentions of going." And I posted that, and the city of Nashville loved me for a couple of days, you know, because your best player, your superstar, your MVP is linked to a different club. Maybe 6 hours later, this reporter from San Jose comes out and gives you the best news in the
Yeah.
world, right? So that was a really cool moment. And when I saw Hanny again, I asked him because there were some reports of him possibly playing for the United States, and I was like, "All right, well, let's start this now. You know, how do you feel playing for
Yeah.
USA?" And he gave me a real answer. So that was, there's some players that once you get a relationship with them, they're gonna give you better answers. And Hanny's a
Right.
guy that I have a great relationship with, and I'm really fortunate that he's really kind and he's a great player and he always likes to tell the truth and you kind of learn that throughout the trade that hey, this guy's going to give you something that maybe isn't the best answer, so you just have to adjust and kind of go with it.
Yeah, and I think those like relationships that you build, like you said, like they're crucial, and like it's awesome when you can connect like that.
Yeah,
So it's like a lot of people got to remember, and we kind of discovered this throughout the season, like meeting the players and having them on the podcast. Like they're people,
At the end of
right.
they're
the day.
just regular people that happen to be really good at one thing, well maybe multiple things, who knows? But it's really cool to see that other side of them, and when you can kind of like reach that, it's like anything's possible when you start asking them questions. And then I was gonna say like your style, like I saw that you said you're like I like to make them laugh. If you get them
Yeah,
to laugh, then
yeah.
they open up.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I always do too. I always ask some people get mad, some people are really X's and O's about this sport and really um really want to get down to the nitty-gritty tactics, how to get past the low block, things like that. And I think there's a lot of content creators out there or at least shows or reporters that do a great job at that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that's my strong suit, like I can talk about it, but I don't really like to. That's just my style. But when you're interviewing a player, you have to throw a couple change ups in there. You can't just throw
Oh yeah.
fastball, fastball, fastball. maybe give him a couple of meatballs. Give him something that you just hit out of the park, and then hit him with the hey, you want to play for the USMNT, and then they'll give you a real answer, right? So
Right.
it's kind of a I don't know. It's kind of an art form in a sense too. It's like public speaking and getting the
Oh
best
yeah.
out of your opponent at the time. Well, the person you're interviewing, and it's a whole bunch of fun. I mean, I always get Espinoza to laugh because I ask him about the not the dumbest things, but like you just got mad at the ref, or I'm able to speak to them in Spanish in a way that maybe they can't articulate in English,
Yeah.
and they trust me enough to give me the real answer in Spanish because they've seen my posts or they've seen the work I do that I can translate it in the right way, right? So that's cool too. I think it's almost like I have to do these things, because it's like if I
Yeah.
don't do them, I don't see as of right now someone trying to do that. So I'm very fortunate and I'm very lucky that I've been put in this situation, and it's just gradually made me go from a earthquakes podcaster to an earthquakes reporter to an MLS reporter covering the whole league, and now I'm very
Yeah.
grateful to be on the show in St. Louis to talk to you guys. Giving out
Yeah.
yellow cards. It's funny to just take a step back and appreciate it all. And I couldn't have done it without guys like you, bringing me on shows and the fans that always post my stuff. So I do appreciate everything.
Yeah, yeah. We appreciate you coming on. It's awesome to network. Like we love
Yeah.
meeting new people, and that's what the season was all about, man. Like we've met so many amazing people, and like Ezra came to my house and we had steaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's awesome.
I went to Topgolf with Akil. Like Danny was sick. He's still bitter about that one, but
Yeah, I had to.
but I mean, it's like those relationships that you would never expect to have. Like
Right.
that's what's awesome, and it's like not just the players too, but like the regular fans that we see like every other week in the
Right.
same spot. Like it's awesome, man. It's a crazy community. That we because when we first started, we thought it was one supporter group.
Mm,
Nah, there's like hundreds of
right.
that's an exaggeration. There's tons. And then so when we saw your poll on Twitter, I'm like, man, dude, like these podcasts are everywhere. Like
Right.
these people love their team. They just want to talk about it. So it's cool. Like I started like following a couple of them and I started listening to them and checking them out. Maybe we'll do like some kind of collaborations
Yeah,
or something.
especially next year when you guys play the teams,
Yeah.
it's a great way to get your name out there as a show, and that's what we used to do when I was on Tectonic Takes all the time was for the San Jose. We would bring in people from podcasts in San Jose. We would bring on guys from other teams, so it was something that was really interesting, and then it just kind of grew into this whole thing. But yeah, I know how it is to be a podcaster. I know those late hours, recording everything and making sure everything gets uploaded, and then maybe not it doesn't get the amount of views you want. I totally know that. So I know the feeling, and it's nice to kind of have at least a community
Yeah.
now, or at least that you can have networked with the podcast team from another location.
Yeah, I think we're very unique in the way like I don't know how many views we get on the weekly, but it's just like we focus on like I said the fan experience. We do it for fun
Yeah.
and we're getting to meet all these people. We got players on the pod which is crazy. I never thought we'd ever have it like the first season like that like how many players like we got to meet and
Right.
events we get to go to like it's crazy. So like that's our first thing. It's like the relationships the fan experience, and then everything else is secondary because at the end of the day, we just love doing it. It's
No,
not our full
no.
time job
Right.
either,
Right. Right.
so so it's like
But
we just love doing it.
but it's not a full time job for any reporter too, unless you're with. I think a lot of the MLS guys are part time too. So at this moment, soccer, at least MLS, is not there yet. And we
Yeah,
all of us have like a little step in it, and hopefully when it gets there, people won't forget, all the people that were there first. So
yeah,
no, it's
exactly.
it's something that soccer's gonna definitely grow, and it's awesome that we're here all,
Yeah.
talking about soccer today.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember hearing stories about like some of the top MLS guys back in the day, like they had part time jobs
Yeah.
somewhere else because MLS didn't pay enough. Like imagine like walking into the store and be like, bro, that's Landon Donovan.
Yeah.
What's he
Right.
doing?
Right.
Like
Right.
Man,
No, it's
wild.
true. It's true. It happens. It
You
happens.
see,
That's pretty funny though.
you see Klaus selling like
yeah.
merch under the arch or something.
Yeah.
That'd be,
Like
yeah,
bootleg, bootleg.
that'd be
Oh
wild.
man. But I mean that's what's crazy. People like with sports, right? They put them on a pedestal. Like
Mm,
you see them under these bright lights playing the game. Like you go there, you pay to go see them
right.
play. And then you see them out in public and they're look like just normal dudes and
Yeah.
you're like, "Whoa." But that's what's nice like cuz we want to showcase that cuz
Right.
you kind of said you know you're not all about tactics or
Right.
anything like that. You find a good middle ground, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like we are completely far, like no tactics, nothing. We just want to chat and have a good time.
Yeah, that's the best part of it. I mean, if we could talk about soccer, our backgrounds and how we're all connected to this
Yeah.
moment, yeah, it's the best thing in the world. I mean, soccer is something that binds the whole world together. So it's definitely going to bind a couple of guys drinking brewskis, talking
Oh
about St.
yeah,
Louis.
there we
Cheers to
go.
that.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, put that on a greetings card or something, man. That was romantic.
I am a romantic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the storylines. I love seeing things about this sport and highlighting that. So
I think
yeah,
most Latinos
definitely a
are. I
romantic.
think most Latinos.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh yeah, I'm only half
Hybrid.
Mexican,
Got a hybrid.
hybrid.
Okay, okay.
But hey, that romantic part's still there, baby.
Yeah.
Still there.
I'm full, so both
Oh
my parents
man.
are straight from Mexico. I was born here, but fluent
Oh no.
Spanish, English. Mondo over here, he didn't
Yeah.
quite pick up the Spanish. He's
Yeah.
getting there
Hey,
though.
Yeah.
maybe who knows? Who knows in the future, right?
Exactly. I like how he put that plug in there. He's like, I was
I
born
was.
here.
So we were talking about Uno because a lot of the guys on the St. Louis team love playing Uno when they're
Oh
when they're
wow.
Yeah.
traveling or whatever in the hotels or whatever. Apparently, the thing to do is play Uno. I was like, I've never
Oh
really
wow.
been good at Uno
That's
because I would
interesting.
steal all the green cards. And
Oh,
you know that joke.
Jesus.
uh,
Hey, that's the only bilingual game.
yeah,
The only bilingual
Yeah,
game here.
no, it's a great game, but yeah, man, it's awesome having you on the podcast today. We're huge fans of everything
Yeah.
you're doing out there. Anything else you have going on
Oh.
coming up?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the magazine is still something that we're working on. I think next season we're gonna probably wrap up this season with maybe one or two spreads, and then next season we're gonna do a little bit more behind the scenes. I think we're gonna try to highlight players outside of the court or the field, right? Because a lot of people already kind of know how good these players are, but maybe they have special talents. I know Jonathan Mensah for the San Jose Earthquakes is a great photographer, and not a lot of people knew that. So Jonathan Mensah will always go on hikes and photography and get like these beautiful animals on his camera. So things like that I want to highlight a little more. Maybe like the Breakaway show on Apple TV, which is
Yeah.
great too.
Yeah.
In my whole kind of way that we've been doing. So that's something that we're gonna be into, and then I'm gonna cover the MLS Cup. So wherever the MLS Cup is, I'm gonna be there for the All-Star game. We did, I think, like 40 interviews. It was something crazy with all the players. So yeah, I mean, it's tough work. You go to an All-Star game, it's a whole 4 or 5 days of work, really. To be honest, it's nonstop posting, translating, posting on 2 accounts, 3 accounts, right? So that was a whole lot of fun. I got a story about DC actually. I rented a car, and then the car, I guess, wasn't a part of their lot, and I ended up switching out cars, and I left my luggage in the first car. So I was
Oh
freaking
no.
out. I'm like, dude, I'm
Damn.
about to go to the White House with no clothes. I'm about to cover MLS All-Star game with no suits. I was freaking out. And I figured it out 3 hours later. So I was like, oh, my stuff's gone. It's gone. So I drove back to the airport, and oh man, that was probably the most stressful day of my
Wow.
life. I had to make sure I still had my luggage. But yeah, that everything doesn't go as planned, and you just got to roll with the punches when it comes to these events like MLS Cup and All-Star game and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's wild. Like I couldn't imagine because there's some kind of pressure. Do you still get nervous when you're in those instances?
Yeah, you know what, man? Like, I've never get starstruck when talking to a player. But when I was next to Gareth Bale, my first MLS Cup, that was kind of wild. Like that was, dude, I hated this guy. Like I was a Liverpool fan, and this guy's like bicycle scorpion kick, like ruined us. So
Yeah.
it's something that I was just like, wow, that's kind of wild. And then we got a little tidbit from Will Ferrell. That was a cool moment too when they won. We got Kellen Acosta swearing on tape. That was cool. Just like a
Oh, nice.
whole bunch of little things that you never thought you would do. Like I was the first one in the championship locker room. And then I was also the only one to really interview the Philly players when they lost. And that was something that is a very big learning experience for me. Because I mean, no one wants to interview a guy when they're crying, right? So
Yeah.
like Jack McGlynn's 16-year-old, wonder kid, but he's just bawling, right? And he's doing this interview with this mic in his hand. and it was something that was like, damn, this is tough. Like that was the moment where I was like, yeesh, this is tough. But I got rewarded. MLS used my interviews for their official transcripts, and that was the moment that I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to say I made it because I haven't made it yet, but that was a moment that I was like, geez, like this is cool.
That's awesome.
Like
Yeah.
I'm a Latin kid from SF, MLS is using my interviews, so it's like, wow, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, and we saw some of that because we started like looking at all your content and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And like Danny said, man, we love it all. We
I
keep it
appreciate
up.
that.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was something because so my whole thing too is a lot of reporters are either so this is tough, right? Old school reporters kind of don't like showing too much of their life, right? And it's
Yeah.
tough because it's really it's not like showboating, but it's like you kind of have to show that you're interviewing the guys when you're starting off because then you won't have any credibility. So
Right.
I started
Right.
interviewing guys with me in the camera because I was like,
Yeah.
no, I want to show people that I'm actually getting these answers, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that was a little tough because a lot of the older MLS guys or the guys that have been here for a while, they're more of writers, they're more that they want to kind of stay behind the camera and then get the player completely. But I don't know. I'm a little different. I think the times are changing a bit, where you need to make content as well, kind of to be in the whole kind of new age of media. So I feel like I've done a little bit to kind of appeal to both sides, right? Like
Yeah.
tweets for the old crowd or for the crowd that's been here forever, and then kind of Instagram where I post the interview with the player, getting the interaction because it's hard to write down things like when Walker Zimmerman's laughing about the question to Henny Muhtar about playing for the USMNT, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
really write that down. You can, but it's funnier when you get it on video,
Yeah.
right? So
Oh
it's a
yeah,
little
absolutely.
balance, right?
Yeah, and that's like when we like discuss like how we're gonna put our podcast out on the platform. I'm like, we got to put it on YouTube, like
Right,
so people can see that genuine reaction, like you said, like the players laughing
right.
or like getting those moments that you can't see, when it's
Yeah.
just audio.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's like the changing of the old guard. Really, entertainment's changing completely. People want to see faces, especially now with AI coming out. People are definitely going to want to see faces. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
that it's pretty cool to see. And I think with Apple TV and MLS, I think they're doing a great job of it too. I think they're doing great with their shows and everything.
Yeah, except Apple needs to stop making me pay like twice a season for this thing.
Wait, they made
I
you
was
pay
like,
twice?
yeah, I was like, didn't I pay for this? But I was like, I was trying to watch a City game because I was in like Memphis for something, and I'm like, F it, I'm just gonna pay it again. I'll, dispute it. And then they made me pay again. I realized I paid for it twice. And I'm like,
Wow.
dude, that's how they get people. That's
I
how they
haven't
get
had
them.
that
Did you get
experience.
like a new iCloud account or something?
No, I don't know what it was, man.
I'll get you a code next time.
There you go.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I had like 20 codes at one point, and I was just like gifting because there was T-Mobile deals where you would get it free from T-Mobile. There was one point I had like 25 codes, and I was like, "Hey, watch MLS, watch MLS, watch MLS." Try to
yeah,
make
there
those
we go.
interactions. Find people, network, right? So yeah, I'll get you a code next year.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Hey, this
Times
whole
two. No.
podcast was worth it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Times
that's
two.
two. I
Yeah,
no problem. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man, just
Okay.
messing with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, man. Yeah, but we've been enjoying talking to you. So we do have a fan segment. We usually do like red, yellow, or fair play. So we usually show you a picture
Okay.
and you decide like red means like nah, no way, you should not be doing this. Yellow's like, all right. And fair play's like, hell yeah, that's acceptable. So I'm gonna send these over to you.
All right. Let's see. Let's see.
All right, let's get this right here. And I got to get them in order too, because these are pretty funny. All right. So there's a lot of so we're gonna do tattoos. That's the theme. City
Okay.
tattoos, right? There's a lot of calf tattoos this year. So we'll start with simple, and then it gets a little bit more intricate. So just sent you the first one, and we'll show this on the podcast so the viewers will see as well.
So it's pretty big. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he was all in, man. He was all in.
It has the date December 10th, 2022. So before the first game, right? So you know what? I'm gonna say I'm not gonna judge this guy's tattoo though. It looks sick, right? I'm gonna say fair play. I like it. It was
All
done
right.
before. It was done before the season. It really showed that he cared no matter what his team did. So I like that.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's a good view right there. He's like, win or lose, this tattoo's
That's
with me
actually my
forever.
buddy Alex Alejandro.
Shout out
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah, there he goes. So good thing you said fair play. All right, next one. Little bit more intricate here. This tattoo looks like a patch. Patches have been
Oh,
crazy this year.
They were a huge hit in St. Louis. The match day
Huge
patches,
hit.
it was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think this is a calf
Yeah.
tattoo, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or it looks like an arm.
Yeah,
Look
I
at the
don't
hair
know.
at the bottom, right? Look at the hair at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know. This dude got a big
It
arm.
looks like his bicep.
Yeah. That's a weird placement if it is your arm,
Yeah, you
right?
know what? I'm gonna say yellow card for the placement if it's on his arm. I'm not too big of a fan of the hair kind of look on it or like a patch
Yeah.
look. Um, but it's cool. It's very cool. And
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't know where the placement is. October 13th of this year. Yeah, so I'm gonna say yellow card. It needs to have a big picture of Klaus somewhere on there or Berkey, maybe a face. So,
Holding the patch. That's what it is. Need Klaus holding that
right, right.
patch.
So yellow, add Klaus next to it, and it'll be a fair play.
There we go. Next one. This is our last calf tattoo.
Oof.
Are
I'm gonna
you
give this
seeing these as
guy.
well?
It's sick. It's really sick, but I'm gonna give
They're
this guy a
dangerous.
red. That's definitely a red for me because
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't do blood, right? Seeing this is like inside of him. Oh, I don't know. I might quease every time I see it, but it's cool. But yeah, it's a little bloody for me.
Yeah,
That's for
that one's
sure.
definitely I've never seen one like that. I've seen the Tor skin ones, but this one this one takes the cake on
So,
gruesomeness.
so being from San Francisco and knowing about like you know eating diseases on your skin, like flesh eating diseases and stuff, it kind of just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So uh, maybe this guy's into that horror stuff.
Maybe.
So maybe he really
Oh yeah.
likes it. So, but for
Well,
me,
he
I guess I'm a little,
yeah, he got it in October, and Halloween was coming
Oh,
up.
there you go. Okay. All right, maybe I'll change it to a yellow then. A yellow. It's festive. It's
Oh
festive.
man. So talking about diehards, these next two are extreme diehards. I don't know if I would do this, but I'll let you decide here.
Ooh, getting a signature. Okay.
Yeah, so this is one of the very first events we ever went to. Shout out Fan Cave. Lucas, Bartlett, and Klaus. Those are their two autographs. She had them sign her arm, and then she went immediately and got it tattooed.
This one's tough. This one's tough.
And that was before Klaus became a big hit, right? Yeah,
I
that was
still,
before Klaus was a big hit.
well, Danny, on the field, right? I had my first impression of Klaus was, why is this guy swearing so much? Like this dude swears. I was at Goldchella and I saw Klaus play, and I was just like, dude, this guy is swearing like a sailor. Dude, this guy's so
Yeah.
passionate right now, getting mad at Goldchella while you see Insigne just like lackadaisically walking around, like he's like, oh, this is pretty cool. So they have the events over here, like, and then Klaus like, like just swearing away. So that's always stuck to me, So I bet he does that in St. Louis too, where he just gets stupid mad at himself because he didn't score a goal. But it's passion. It's beautiful, and that matches this tattoo for sure. Um, I'm not a big sign guy. I mean, I would hope someone gets my signature. No, I was kidding. I'm kidding. No, I don't know if I would feel weird. I'd feel weird about that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're not my wife. You're not my kid. All right, maybe not. So I'm gonna say it's cool. I like it. There's cool fans out there, but yellow. Proceed with caution. Maybe don't get too many more signatures on there, or maybe you know what? Maybe get the whole team. Maybe the whole inaugural team is something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that would mean something. I don't know if it was her, but I heard a story that she was trying to get Bartlett's jersey.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to fact check it. And then she's like, I got your tattoo on here. And then he's like, oh, I got to give you the jersey
Right,
now.
yeah,
You got
at
my
that
name
point,
tattoo.
at that point.
I think it was her, but I'll fact check it. All right, next one, very similar. This is our boy Christopher Gonzalez. But this I don't know how I feel about this one either. So yeah, he did this himself. Dedication. Fair play for doing it himself. This is on his thigh.
Wait, so he got
This is Akil Watts
uh-huh.
and Celio tattooed.
But he got them. They signed his leg.
He signed his upper thigh, and
How do you have Celio to sign your upper thigh? If Messi security was there, they would have been tackled. That's for sure.
yeah, I just want to know who the first one was. He's like, hey man, Akil Watts just did it. You should do it. Like,
yeah, right. At that point, you got to be like, damn, I got to do it too. I don't really want.
Yeah.
I don't really want to sign this guy's upper thigh.
Yeah.
When you're
And like, do you put one hand on the thigh so you can have to right?
I mean, when you're a pro and you're playing for MLS Next Pro and you're like, oh, I'm gonna make it big time. I'm gonna sign so many things. Would you ever think you're gonna sign a guy's upper thigh? Like, is that something that check that one off?
Yeah. Well, like I said, yeah. This is our boy 100%, but it's just hilarious because he showed up. I think this was the America game, so a lot of things went wrong that day. But he showed me his leg, and like half of his leg was shaved because he was like, "All right, I'm gonna get him to sign my leg, and I'm gonna tattoo this tonight."
That's
I was
pretty
like, "All
cool.
right,"
That's pretty cool.
and it did. It worked. So
All right, dedication. I like it. Yellow card because it's the placement, but I like it. I'm not gonna lie. It's dedication.
oh yeah, 100%. And we're moving on to one of the players because this is a pretty prolific tattoo, and we talked about him already tonight.
Oh, that's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. I like it. Fair play. Fair play. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of back tattoos, and animals. I think I'm gonna get like Pulisic, but with a lion. So I like that tattoo a lot. I'll probably get it on my arm eventually. I'm always weird about that though, because I'm not sure if I'm reporting, and you see a big lion on my arm. Is that unprofessional, or are we at the point where it's like tattoos are cool, right? So
I think tattoos are like more and more acceptable because in a professional business world, like I see people tattoos all everywhere.
yeah, yeah, I have a couple tattoos too. I have an elephant on me, and then I have a whole bunch of birthdays on my leg. But yeah, getting it on my arm is something that I'm always like, oh,
Yeah,
should I get the Venom, symbiote going up
yeah,
my side, like, oh, that'd be pretty cool, pretty trippy.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right. Girlfriend's maybe shave a little bit, have a girlfriend's name here.
yeah. Daniel's like, my birthday is October. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Yeah, it's your list. All right. So what do you give that? You say
I
fair
say
play,
fair play. I like that a lot. I think it's
Daniel.
so
What do you
cool.
give him? So I'm giving him a red card because he got another team's mascot on his back. Look at this.
No, I don't see it that way. Are you talking about the Mickey Mouse?
That's Leo the
Come
Lion,
on,
man.
dude.
He's got Real Salt Lake
Real Salt
mascot
Lake?
on his back.
No, I was thinking
That's
Orlando.
no, that's Real Salt Lake's mascot. Yeah, but this one was more funny, man. This mascot looks crazy, dude. Orlando's mascot looks dope. I like Orlando's mascot. This one, I don't know, man. It looks like you got hit with a chair or something.
Oh yeah! Whoa, Leo the Lion. That's cool. I actually didn't know that. Now I know that there's 2 lion mascots in the league.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. So I was looking them up, and I'm like, because St. Louis doesn't have a mascot yet, and I'm like, do we need one? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? LAFC doesn't either. I haven't seen them.
Well, they have the hawk, right? They have the hawk.
Oh, okay. I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Galaxy have Cosmo. What does Vancouver have?
Q. Vancouver has. I just saw it. It's a bird of some sort.
Huh?
I think.
Oh yeah. And I've seen DC's. It's like a little bird too.
Yeah.
The Quakes have like a
Q. The blue.
You know what the backstory about Q is that like he fell into a radioactive earthquake and he came out that way.
See, that's pretty sick though. That's a badass story, man. Good origin story.
Yeah.
That's how Varsity Dan became a varsity player. Same story.
No, my whole background of Q is when he got in a fight with David Beckham. That's something
Yeah.
etched in MLS lore forever. And if I'm a mascot, dude, I might do the same. Like
Oh yeah.
you get to push David Beckham around while you're having it next on Sports Center. So it's something that's etched in my mind forever, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a moment.
Cosmo should have got drop kicked by Ibra. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was looking up all these mascots, and Portland Timbers has like
Timber Joey.
yeah, Timber Joey. He's just a regular dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have crazy in San Jose. We have Crazy George too, which is a regular dude too, and he's been there since '74.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of asking for Quake. So we actually have two mascots.
Yeah. Well, we have Chapulin.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that dude, he wears many things, but I don't know. I don't know what a lot of people are like. What should the fans be called? What mascot should we have? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just showing up and enjoying our time.
Maybe the City Refs.
City refs.
One of the last videos that the team put out for like the playoffs, they actually said they referenced us, the city refs.
Oh, that's cool.
Playing for, they're like, we're playing for the fans, we're playing for, a couple of the supporter groups, and then they said the city refs.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
that was sick. Yeah, like kind of like you said, like you feel like you made it, and I'm like, we're on the radar. Let's go.
Right.
We're on the radar.
Right. Dan, I can't hear your audio too well, but I understood you.
Okay. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, but it was something that was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, maybe you guys could be the City Refs.
Yeah, that'd be pretty wild.
Imagine a whole sports section starting rocking your guys' yellow.
Yeah, yeah, no, that'd be pretty wild. I don't know.
A whole section to hold up like big yellow cards.
That'd be cool. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
well, they do it. They do it already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I saw in the playoff game a lot of people with the cards.
Oh yeah, man. But hey, man, thanks for coming on the podcast. It
Yeah,
was
it was my
awesome just
pleasure.
chatting with you, man. We knew you were cool, on Instagram. You're trying to help us troubleshoot Riverside.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah, yeah. I love this website. I mean, I did it all the time with my interviews because even if we had like a problem here with Dan's voice, it does it by itself. It fixes. So
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. But yeah, we look forward to continue to see what you do. Yeah, we're gonna be following you, your content,
thank you.
especially the MLS, Cup. So
Yeah,
that'd
yeah.
be sick.
It's gonna be a good time, man. It's who knows, right? Tonight's a big game, Dallas versus Seattle. It's big for me because I'll find out if I'm flying to LAFC or if I'm flying to Seattle, right? So we'll see where the game is, and I know my mom wants to come with me, so she's all crazy about who wins this game. She's like, "Let's go Seattle," 'cause she's never been, so it's something that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Do you have a preference?
Me, you know what? I like LAFC because I go all the time. But having my mom come along and go to Seattle for the first time, that's gonna be cool. I mean, she's an immigrant mom, so like traveling with her son and
Yeah.
seeing him in action, right? Seattle was the
Yeah.
first place I was on the field and someone waved at me and said, "Oh my God, your favorite Rick." I was like, "What? No, I'm not me." So I got a lot of love for Seattle and I got a lot of love for LA too. I got a lot of love for all cities now. St. Louis, so it's real cool, especially when you get to show your parents things that oh mom, look at this, dad, look at this,
Oh yeah.
and they get to see it firsthand. So I'm going for Seattle. I think I want Seattle to win so we can have at least one game in Seattle, and then we'll see from there.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I guess we'll find out shortly.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, as always, man, we appreciate it. We'll have to collab again soon.
definitely. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I get a little magazine spread of St. Louis. You guys have a lot of great content creators out there. I know Kashawn very, very well personally. Your guys,
Oh yeah.
like players relation guy,
Yeah.
and he's or PR as well. And no, he's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna get some content out pretty soon
Sweet.
about St. Louis. And if you guys
Yeah.
want to follow me for any MLS news, you can find me at Favian Renkel. Yeah, and I appreciate all of this. And if you guys want to connect, please let me know too. Anybody that's listening to this.
Yeah, absolutely. My only request is for the St. Louis Magazine, Danny gets a centerfold.
Yeah, let's do it. I might ask Danny to help me shoot it. I mean,
I'm down.
I think he deserves a little credit.
Hey, you need something?
So,
let us know.
Absolutely, brother.
Hey, I need to get a yellow and red card in there somehow, right? So we got to
Let's do
get
it.
those in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe like a
man.
rip away, like a rip away city refs, yellow and red
There
card,
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. But hey, man, we appreciate it. Till next
Thank
time,
you.
brother.
Hey, take care, guys. Cheers. Cheers. One
Oh,
last
one
cheers.
last cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and then we'll end on the red card.